So, welcome back once again, dear friends, and we start our uh, first session of this faculty development program. And because the program is on outcome based education and accreditation process, the first and the foremost session which I would be talking about is the philosophy and principles and philosophy of outcome based education, or basically the genesis of OBE, right? And I always talk about that we have to embrace the OBE for the academic excellence. Okay. Yeah. So in this presentation, I'll be discussing the concept of OBE that might be known to some of the faculty members already, because you people might be engaged in the implementation of OBE during your accreditation process. But for those faculty members who are new to it, or just to have another clear cut idea, I'll be talking something about the OBE concept. And then I'll discuss about the model of outcome based education, and then the implementation of OBE framework. And finally, the framing part, but that will be taken care by the experts tomorrow. They will be talking about this. So my main emphasis will be discussing about how to implement OBE, what is OBE, and how to understand the philosophy of OBE. Okay. So the Okay, first I would request every one of you to go through this slide, that what are the expected outcomes from this program. Please go through this slide, and if anyone can just read for me, anyone can volunteer, unmute and read for the participants.
Yes, ma'am. I'll read
Yeah,
myself, Dr. Ekta Rastogi from Chandigarh University.
yes, ma'am.
First outcome is enhanced understanding of outcome based education principles and their application in academic setting. Then, second is improved skills in designing, assessing, and aligning learning outcomes and curriculum with OBE principles. Third is increased adoption of active learning strategies to promote student engagement and achievement of learning outcomes. Then last is development of actionable plans for implementing OBE principles in participants' academic programs and courses.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you. Now, just a question to all the participants. If I would not have put this slide in my presentation, would it affect your course of action of learning from this session, or it would have made any difference, or it is okay that okay, if this slide would not have been here and I would have started talking about okay, what is OBE and what are the objectives. So, or now you have some difference, you think that you can feel that now I have given you a guided sort of path, that after completion of this 1.5 session, what you are what outcomes you are expecting, I mean, what is expected out of you, or I would say that how, what you have to gather or you have to learn from this program. Only one slide with 4 sentences in place makes your learning system in this 1.5 hour session more focused. Do you agree to me? Yes. So, because, so, and if I would not have put this slide, then some of you might have a clear cut idea that what I'm going to learn in this session. But some of you might be okay, let every slide come and I will learn or I will understand what Dr. Sood wants to talk about. But now, because if these lines are ingrained in your thoughts, it means now the objectives are known clearly, and what you are going to learn and what at the end of the day should be an your increase in your knowledge about OB is clear. So this is one thing which I always talk about, the OBE to the teachers, that the present system right now, the present education system has this lacuna in our uh, uh, in the system, that we we are more, our education system is more inclined towards teacher centric approach. That is what the teacher wants to teach, what how the teacher wants to teach. Okay, the curriculum is fixed, the assessment style is fixed, the books are fixed, the teaching learning process is also fixed. Okay, so the what the student is learning, that is we are not talking about. Our education system is not talking about that whatever we are teaching is the student gathering or some information out of it, or what is his learning, what is his change in behavior, that we are not bothered about. So this is why our present education system has certain deficiencies, and our system is not more student centric. Whatever we are teaching, whatever curriculum we are designing, whatever education system we are framing, how we are teaching, how we are assessing the students, that is more towards the teacher centric, not the student centric. So if I am teaching a subject, if I am in suppose I am framing a curriculum of BTech computer science, and I am putting a subject of data structures, so why, what are expectations, what student is going to learn, why we are putting this subject, and then how we are teaching that subject, what the student is going to learn, these things are not being taken care of in our present education system. Okay, so as I said, that if now you have this in your mind, so this is something which is the learner centric approach, that learner, what outcomes learner is expected and what outcomes he will get, first thing. Second thing is, our education system right now is totally exam oriented or CGPA driven. We will say it has to be. Many of you will, you have that viewpoint, okay, something, some parameter is to be there, which is which will mark a student's mental level or cognitive capabilities, that whether he is intelligent or smart, or he is mediocre, or how he has performed throughout his life, no doubt. But our entire energy, our entire system is directed only towards getting the marks or getting good CGPA. The student focus is to not to learn or understand, but only to gather knowledge to get good CGPA. Because you see, okay, I want input from you people. Whom do you consider an educated person, good educated person, or highly educated? Any one of you can answer. Whom do you consider? A person who is a PhD is educated, a person who is masters is educated, a person who is BTech is educated. Anyone? Yes, ma'am.
I'm a person who really understand the concept only educated, ma'am.
Yeah. Or only the concept. If if I say a person is PhD, but he does not have any human values. A person is master, but he does not have any interpersonal skills, how to behave with his peers, how to behave in the society, what is his uh, you know responsibility towards environment or the society. We consider him educated, but he has PhD, he has good academic record. Why,
Ma'am, the academic qualification doesn't decide the knowledge of a person, ma'am. Only when they have a knowledge of what they have learned and how to behave it in society, how ethics they are having in a behaving in a society, only get educated. This is what our engineering graduation and graduate
attributes.
attributes teachers, and this is what we are doing nowadays in an accreditation, that the student doesn't it is not enough to learn the content of an engineering subject. They have to be educated in all 12 attributes, all 12
Exactly.
outcomes.
Very rightly mentioned. That's what I wanted to focus upon. Sadly, in our education system, the level of education is measured by the level of academics. If I have a CGPA of 9, I am considered very intelligent person and very highly educated. If I'm a PhD, that is why the graduate attributes and these accreditation bodies are directing our attention towards a system where education, the academics is a small part of the education. A person educated may be good in academics, but along with that he has to have certain characteristics, certain features which make him more educated rather than highly academic. Okay, so that is why, as you said, now like in NBA also, those who are dealing with it, we have the program outcomes, the graduate attributes, and earlier they were 12, but in new one they are 11 now. For that, if you why we are talking about those attributes, because the the education system should be oriented in such a way that it caters to the holistic development of the student, not only the cognitive level, but his human nature, his, you know, affective domain also we have to talk about, right? So we all know, but right now our system is totally CGPA driven. Third point which our system is lacking is the emphasis on the soft skills. See, when we talk about education, we have three things: the knowledge, skill, and the attitude. Earlier, our education system or was totally focused on the knowledge dissemination. Going to the college, going to the class, getting a degree, getting a diploma was totally related to the gathering the knowledge or gathering the information. Teaching was only related to the knowledge dissemination, or in some parts it was the skill part also, getting good in some skill, right? But our education system did not pose or did not cater to much of the soft skills which are required. See, in the coming times, in the requirement, if you see requirement at not only the by the industry but the global requirement everywhere, now only knowledge and skill is not required, but your soft skills, that is how good you person you are, how you are in good communication skills. You see, I give you one example. uh, if a student after completing his BTech has a CGPA of 9, 9.5, and there is a student who has a CGPA of 7 or 7.5, right? A company comes for the placement and he prefers a student of CGPA 7.5 rather than CGPA of 9. Why? Because a student with 7.5 may be able to, he might be having good communication skills, he might have good management capabilities, good leadership qualities. So these type of skills were required by the industry, which was not which the student with CGPA of 9 did not have, so they preferred 7.5. Because the skills or the requirement of a students, the attributes, as you said, the graduate attributes which are required by the students are not only constrained to the knowledge or the academic part, but the entire part. So these things were missing somewhere in our present education system. Okay, so the other things beings and all related towards this, that how, what competencies we are looking for, how, what are the outcomes or objectives, so there are other deficiencies. So Now the time has come, and for the last few years we are moving in this direction of teaching of moving our ecosystem from teacher center to the student centric. I don't go into these details, but I just wanted to show you this cartoon. Okay, now if you see, these two, I usually put this in my presentation. Some of you might be who are attending my program again, they might have noticed earlier also, but this is something which I really feel good. So these two persons, they are teachers. They are just like, I'm considering them teacher, and the dog is the some student whom they are catering to. So the one teacher is very boastfully telling that I have taught this dog how to whistle. Oh, great. So the other teacher is very surprised that, wow, you have so much of capability that you have taught the student what he was not supposed to, or what he did not have the competency or capability to do this. He was surprised. So he checked, okay, let me see. So he asked dog to whistle, 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 and the dog was not able to. So the teacher said, oh, you are saying and you are claiming that he will uh, whistle, but he's not. So the teacher says, I said I taught him. I never claimed that he has learned it or not. This is the major issue. I am a teacher. I get the curriculum of communication engineering. See, I am basically in electronics and communication engineering. So my examples will come from there. You can just relate it. So what we do, we we are given a syllabus to teach. The syllabus is there, contents are there, you have to assess two mid semester, one quiz, one final exam, everything is there. And I say, okay, I've taken all my classes, I've checked all the copies, I've given all the assessment, everything is there. Okay, I've marked, marks are also there. But have I ever bothered to check whatever I'm teaching, has the student understood it clearly, or he has just understood on a superficial that he can write the exam and get the marks? So this is the problem with our present conventional education system, that we are, everyone is doing his job very good, in a good way, whether teacher, head, administration, everyone, but we are not taking care of that what are the outcomes which the students are getting at every level, right? So our conventional education system was output based education system, which we are moving towards outcome based education. So the difference is very bleak difference, there is small line. So outcome, when again and again and again we are talking about, it is the level of performance. When I'm saying outcome, it is what proficiency or what competencies are being developed in the output. Output was, okay, the students are, input is your, okay, let me compare it like this. Input is your faculty is there, labs are there, resources are there, contents, curriculum is there, teachers are there. The process is your teaching and learning. And then your output was the graduates who have a degree with their in their hands, with some mark sheet or with some certificate of completion, right? That was your output. But when we talk about outcomes, then we talk about at every level, short term and long term. I'll talk about this. Why a student has come to your college for doing this BTech program, why he's what he's getting after understanding one subject, why he's taking this lab, why he's going for another subject. At every level, what the student is gaining, what competencies are being developed in the student after completion of the program or after completion of any of the this one, right? So it is very important to understand what are the issues in the present education system and what are the future requirements. See, friends, now I say that the education has gone beyond the boundary walls of any university or school or college. Those who are already in the NEP 2020, they are knowing about it and they've implemented it. We all know the We are looking towards, or we are floating the MOOC courses. We are giving the flexibility to the students for the online courses, right? And equal weightage is being given to the courses which are online and offline. Okay, so the student does not requires that he has to sit in the boundary walls and study. He can sit anywhere, and not he is not only contented with the contents which are taught in his classroom. He has so much of knowledge available on the internet. He can attend any course at MIT, of Oxford, or from any Europe university or world class university. He can understand, right? So because, why so? Because at the end of the program, the final result is a student who is employable, whom the industry is ready to take, or who has all those competencies which is required by a graduate of 21st century. So that is not only the requirement of the industry, but the what skill the workforce is expected in this 21st century. Everything has to be taken care by the our education system. Okay, so that is why we always talk about the issues in the higher education. We are teaching them right now. If you see, we are 4G, right? In our mobiles, we have now 4G system. And if you see in our uh, this curriculum, we have a 4G as a subject in final year, or as an elective, or say anything, the any other subject you can think of, artificial intelligence, AR, VR, which industry is going so beyond. And in education, we are just talking about the basics and the fundamentals. So bridging that gap in the industry, thinking about what is the competencies required at the global level, what is the requirement of the industry for making our students getting a job. All these things are pointing towards one common type of education ecosystem, that is the outcome based education. Okay, so when I talk about education system ecosystem, I talk about three main things. Any simple system: what to teach, how to teach, and how to evaluate.
रुको
Anybody
आइए
wants to speak something? Okay. So main thing is what to teach, contents, how to teach, and yeah, and how to know that what you have taught, whether the students have achieved or not. Three things. And all these three things should be in line and directed towards the continuous quality of each and every stakeholder, quality not only of the students, which are the final products, but the quality of the faculty, those who are dealing with those students, quality of the department who is started this program, quality of the institute as a whole, quality of the society where your institute is present, and where the students are becoming employable. Each and every stakeholder has to move in the direction of the quality enhancement. And that is what the underlying philosophy of the outcome based education is, that it has to focus on the planning of the entire education system around the priorities, which is a source for the continuous quality improvement of all the stakeholders. So when we say again and again, we are talking about outcome based education. So basically, for its implementation, or when we are talking about it, main thing is the learning outcome statements. See, so what is student is expected, and how the it will help the students to reach these outcomes. I will talk about it later and in detail. Okay, so main thing of the uh, OBE is, okay. First, let me talk about, just me a second. Yeah. So it is important to understand, again, as I said, those who are already in this process, they might be having very clear cut idea. Every time I'm talking about outcome, outcome, outcome. So what are these outcomes and at what levels we are talking about these outcomes? So we have mainly four outcomes which we talk about. The first and the foremost is your course outcomes. And course outcomes means the competencies which we are expecting from the student after the completion of a single course. Where I say course means one subject. So if I'm putting a subject of operation management, what skills or competency the student will acquire? Even if a smaller subject of environment develop engineering, or I put a subject of artificial intelligence, or a basic subject of, say, applied mathematics, or even a lab course. So any course a student is learn having in any semester, what he is understanding or what is the outcome, we call them as the course outcomes, and directly the teachers are directly linked to these course outcomes. I'll talk about how. Next is your program outcomes, which are the outcomes which are expected out of the students after completing the entire program. If he has come for you for a MCOM program 2 years, what outcomes he is going to earn? If he has come for a BTech program of 4 years, if he has come to a diploma program in your college, even of a certificate program, even as I said, you have come for this 5-day program, what outcomes you are expecting out of this program? So these are called the POs, which we'll be discussing later, and you all must be having. And then the third one, which is very important, which was not taken care by the conventional education system, they're called the PEOs, program educational objectives. See, gone are the days when our education system used to take care of our student till the program completes. So if a student comes for BTech in computer science, 4 years is spent. At the end of the 4 years, we give them him a degree, the certificate, and mark him as alumni and tata bye bye. Then we are not, if he's placed, very good, our records are to the point. But otherwise, okay, he is gone, he's gone. But now the OBE says our education system has to take care that whatever we are making him learn in the entire 4 years, how that learning is going to help him even after completion of that program. He completes his BTech degree, he gets a job, how he is performing in his job after 4 to 5 years. So that is whether he's, if he got as a job as a trainee, has he gone to the manager level, how he's performing, how the technical know-how or his uh, personal skills or soft skills, how he's behaving in his industry, does he have leadership quality, does he have interpersonal skills are good, so how he's moving on. If he has gone for the job for the higher education, then how the technical competencies which he has gained in the 4 years, how it is helping him. So in nutshell, what I mean to say is that the outcomes, even which are taken at the end of 3 to 5 years after the completion of the program, they are called the PEOs, program educational objectives. Okay, so PSOs I'll talk about later. So these are the outcomes which are measured at every level. And now you see, if we are saying that the outcomes are known to the students, and that give them a direction towards that why I have come here. Okay, getting BTech in computer science, the first and foremost is getting a job. Okay, but then why I'm reading this, what is I'm going to gain, what are expectations from the parents or from the institute to take this subject or so. So importance of the putting the outcome based education is you are sharing the expectations between student and the instructor. So if outcome is clear, a statement I just showed you in the beginning, if now those four outcomes I have shared with you, so you also know that how I'm going to gain, And I also know that how I'm going to move to make you achieve that outcome. So the expectations at the both level are shared and known to both of us. Okay, so it will help not only the students to track their progress, because now whatever I am speaking, so you can relate it. Okay, this is the first outcome, that is I have to understand the genesis of OBE. And I also know that to what level I have to talk to my faculty members to make them understand the genesis of OBE. So you can track whether you are understanding it or not, you are gaining something, or you can track the progress. And I can also make it clear, or my I can make my style of teaching or my style of explaining the things in more directed ways, so that whatever you want to learn, you are learning or not. And then assessment part and all. So this is the most important part of the OBE, that this gives you a true picture, a good platform, or a good foundation for the knowledge seekers and the knowledge givers. Right? So at every level, and this is not only talking and giving the knowledge. When we'll go for the assessment part also, evaluation part also, then also the outcomes play a very, very important role. Why? Because the OBE does not talks only about the just measuring or mapping, but it also talks about how to achieve this. Okay, I'll talk about this later. Right? Any questions up till now, or anything you want to discuss, or I can take it at the end of the uh, session. So finally, if I give you the statement of outcome based education, yeah, any question? Somebody has
Yes,
raised
ma'am.
hand.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to know what is the difference between PEOs and PSOs?
Yeah, I'll come to that, ma'am. If I jump it over, but okay, in a brief, very nutshell, I'll just explain, or just thoda sa I'll put this knowledge. The program outcomes are fixed. Okay, for especially for the technical programs, NBA has fixed the program outcomes. That is the attributes which are expected from the students. But in some cases, in some programs, like say archaeology, yeah, this architecture program or management programs, in those cases, these POs are not sufficient or enough to show that what are the attributes we are expecting from the students. So for that case, in that case, there is a flexibility given to frame another set of program outcomes, which we call them program specific outcomes. That is those program outcomes which are specific to only that program, because generally POs are common to all, whether it is electronics, chemical, civil, mechanical, BCA, MCA, any program, right? But if you think that, okay, as a civil engineer, I want to check whether my student competency is in, say, dam building, or uh, any particular structures or something, so that part is not being covered in the well defined POs, then you have the flexibility of defining PSOs. Okay, this is just an introduction. When I move further, I can make it more specifically clear. Is it okay, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Just I was asking difference between PSO and PEOs.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
So, oh, that they're entirely different, ma'am. POs, as I said, are the statements or are the outcomes which we are expecting after 3 to 5 years of completion of the degree. The student has completed his BTech 99, say 2024. So then you will check the POs of those students into 2027 or 2028. And PSOs are during that 4 year program. After, as soon in 2024, the student has completed those attributes other than POs, they are PSOs. So PSOs are at the same platform which are POs. Is it okay, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Uh, So OB, when we talk about it, is till time this time I've been talking about only outcomes, outcomes, outcomes. But entire OB system is not only outcomes, but it is also, as I said, deals with what is to be taught, that is the curriculum. You have to restructure the curriculum as per OBE. You have to restructure your teaching learning methods or process, and you have to restructure your assessment and reporting practices. So everything in nutshell is the outcome based education, and it caters to all the three aspects: the knowledge, skill, and attitude, right? So the knowledge and skill, you can define what is the purpose, what is the process, how committed, and finally this is the ability. So if I talk, instead of talking about this, I would like to first uh, talk about this model of OB. Many of you might have seen this model, right? But again, for their revision, or for those faculty members, those who have not seen it, the model of OBE is basically PDCA cycle, that is plan, do, check, and act. Okay, so it comprises four major cycles. The first part is your planning part. What you are planning, right? Why, again, as I said, why a student, why we are, okay, now like we are saying that, okay, everywhere we are starting with the BTech in artificial intelligence and machine learning. We already have BTech in computer science. We have, but we are starting BTech in artificial intelligence, diploma in machine learning, diploma in say additive manufacturing, or PG diploma. Otherwise, we had only diplomas in, say, management or HRM or marketing. Now we have PG diplomas. So, if we are starting a program, why? What is the what? Why do we want to start a program? What is the vision behind it? Okay, so that all things, that if, why this subject has to be incorporated, why we want to start this program, everything is planning part, which comprises the outcomes at every level. What POs you are expecting. If you are starting a program in artificial intelligence, say MTech program, what you are expecting that my student should show after 3 5 years? What you are expecting that the student should show the capacities or capabilities after completion of that MTech program? Or what should be the course outcomes at every level of course? So this is the planning part, that before we start anything, this we plan to do. The second part is your doing part. So what you have planned, how will you do it? Okay, so if you want to see what course outcomes means, what course syllabus you are framing, what curriculum you are designing, how you will be teaching. Do you think, like I have seen C programming, programming through C subject is there in the curriculum, and lectures are 4, practicals are 2. Now, I don't feel it right that a programming subject is to be taught in the theory class on the board, rather than make it 6 hours, but make the student sit in front of the computer and learn the programming skills. So, the what pedagogies you are employing, what teaching learning skills you are employing or processes to make the student learn. And then the third part, which is the assessment. How you are assessing. So everything is this doable, doing the part. So whatever you have planned, how you are doing it. And the third is your check. So you are seeing that I planned that at the end of the courses, some course outcomes are there. The student should learn this, students should understand this. Were we able to attain that? I expected after completion of diploma program, 3-year diploma program, my student should exhibit certain competencies. Does my student show that? Or the university or the institute, after running 4 5 programs, 7 programs, is the university exhibiting the achievement of the vision or mission for which the university was set up? So that is the check. Okay, so you might say, okay, present system also has something that we write this, we have the syllabus, we do the teaching learning, and then we do the assessment, take the exam, and do. But the beauty of the OB model, and which makes it different apart from the other models, is this improvement part or the acting part. So, how it is, whatever we have planned and whatever we have achieved, obviously there will be certain discrepancies. There will be certain uh, gaps between the two. So the OB now tells us and OB directs us in the direction of bridging that gap. What actions you will take so that this gap is reduced. If you wanted that your student should exhibit, say, lifelong learning, but he is not able to implement the learning of one subject to the other or in the future, so it means something is amiss, which is not helping us, or which is not making us move in the direction of uh, attaining what was planned. And that is the acting part. So there you have to act, there you have to strategize that what should be done so that the gap between the planned and the achieved reduces. And we can very well understand this, that if this gap reduces, so that would obviously lead to the quality. If the what was expected at the course outcome level, if that is attained, it means the quality of the students learning is good. What was expected at the program outcome and the students are showing it, so the quality of the department quality along with the students is going up. The POs, the quality of the institute is going up. So this model emphasizes that not only plan put on the papers. Earlier, when NBA just started, like 2011, I was the coordinator for NBA of my institute. So there it was, we were only just putting on the papers, okay, these are CO, these are POs. That time the POs were also not fixed. We had to make our own POs and mission statements. Suddenly every department started writing mission statements. Suddenly everybody started writing POs and COs. But we were not keeping a check whether what we are writing, we are attaining it or not. We are actually doing the things in that direction or not, or just it was a paperwork, which is now changed and has to be more changed in the coming times. So this is very important for the learners or for the faculty members, those who are new, that when we are talking about the OBE, we have to talk about specifically all these outcomes, and we have to put every effort, whether it is teaching, whether it is contents, how to teach, what to teach, everything has to be taken care by these outcomes. So what we want our students able to do, that we can be state in terms of POs. If that is not satisfied in POs, you can write as PSOs. How our students are going to achieve it, that is through your teaching learning, your curriculum, your course outcomes. How will we know whether the students have achieved it or not? So obviously that will be through your assessment practices or assessment of COs and POs. And finally and lastly but not the least, that is how to complete this loop, this cyclic circle of enhancing the or improving the quality of all the stakeholders, and that is your continuous quality improvement, right? So this is how what is this is the, what the philosophy of OBE is. Say what you do. This I like it a lot, and it makes the things more clear. So first is say what you do, that what you are going to do, just write it down, that is your planning. Do what you say. Okay, so this is your doing the part, and prove it. So whatever you have said, you will do it, and how you have done it, prove it and improve it. So this is the philosophy of OBE model, which we define in terms of certain parameters which we call the outcomes, in terms of course outcomes, in terms of program outcomes, in terms of PSOs, POs, and the last one, the first one is the vision and mission of the statements. Any questions up till now? Okay, so Another beauty is, because this is the first basic this session, so this many things must be already known to you. Yeah. So now we start with, we understand what OB expects and what OB is. Now the main emphasis is on implementation of OBE, how to begin with and how to move in this direction. So first and the foremost thing is your vision and mission statements. Because when we are saying this POs or CAs or PSOs, everything has to be aligned in the direction towards the vision and mission statement of the institute or of the department. See, you have a vision. We all know a vision statement is a far sighted statement, okay, of say 20 years or 15 years, that where I see my institute or my department or myself after say 10 to 15 years. That is your vision statement. And how will I achieve that are your mission statements. So keeping in view the vision and the mission of the department of the institute, we define the POs and POs. So it is a top down approach when we talk about the planning part. So vision and mission should be written, should be known. Based on those, to achieve the vision and mission, we should write the POs. To achieve those POs, the POs should be written, and POs, because they are fixed, the PSOs should be there. And to attain those POs, your course outcomes or the learning outcomes should be there. So they are called the short term outcomes, COs and POs, and POs and vision are called the long term. And they are totally interrelated, they are not standalone components. And when we are planning, we are moving from top to bottom. And when we are attaining the checking part, then it is bottom up approach. So first we check, because down the line, the most important thing is your course outcomes. So first your course outcomes are attained or not. They will define or they will check whether the program outcomes are attained or not. And attainment of the program outcomes will affect the attainment of POs, and attainment of POs will definitely affect the attainment of the mission leading to vision. So first part is top to down, and the attainment part is from bottom to up. And because they are interlinked, and at every level a check is made, every level there is a cyclic loop. So analysis is done at every level, and every level affects the other level. So obviously at the quality check is done at every level, and it leads to the quality of the entire system, right? One more thing which is very important in OBE is that involvement of stakeholders. Earlier, the education system was taken care only. Teachers are teaching, students are getting out. There are some staff members, there are some lab resources, and that is all. But now OBE talks about the involvement of each and every stakeholder. And when we say stakeholders, it is not only teachers and students, the parents are also stakeholders. Alumni are the stakeholders. The employers, those who are taking your students, as I said, the entire society system in and around you are the stakeholders. So for every level, for designing part, for attainment part, the involvement of the stakeholders is very, very important for writing the POs, framing the COs, POs, whatsoever. Okay, so this is the model and this is the philosophy behind it. Now we have some time. Yeah, we have another 15 minutes. So I'll talk about the how to implement this OBE framework. So as I mentioned, the OBE comprises of three main things: what to teach, that is outcome based curriculum. Because if we are saying that COs are to be seen, what competencies, what attributes, so it means curriculum has to be restructured, redefined, or it has to be modified to come to the level of OBE. And then not only the curriculum but the teaching learning, as I was mentioning. So outcome based teaching learning process has also to be modified, and outcome based assessment. So we'll be I won't go into details of all these, because in the coming sessions we'll be talking about these individual outcome based curriculum and teaching learning and assessment. So, but simply the how to come up with the system in your institute as a whole. For the input, it is required that okay, vision and mission of your institute and department should be properly written, and the department, and they should be aligned. The department vision and mission should align with the vision and mission of your institute. Then the graduate attributes for NBA. Now, NBA was catering to the technical institutes, but now management, for there are the graduate attributes for the management courses also. Okay, so and now after this NAP implementation, the all the even non-technical institutes or the departments have to go for accreditation. So the graduate attributes for them are also there. There are 17. We'll talk about it, so you can choose out of them. So you should also have some program assessment committee which would assess that how the program is moving in terms of OBE model, and advisory board which may comprise some expertise from the industries, from the higher other institutes of repute or alumni. So there should be, all these things should be in place as the input. And then the process part, that you frame the course objectives and the course outcome for every subject. And when I say subject, not only subject or theory, but even the seminar. If you are doing the internship after second year, third year, your curriculum might be comprising the uh, industry training or internship. For that also outcomes have to be mentioned. Your minor project, anything whatever you are doing in the during these 4 years or 3 years, have to be defined in terms of outcomes. Okay, so the process involves not only framing the outcomes, framing the curriculum, but also the mapping and all, which we'll discuss further. And finally, your approval from the competent authorities, whether it is curriculum, whether it is assessment, anything which you are putting up has to be through proper channel and through the uh, proper authority has to be there. So this is a simple type of framework which the you have to design. Okay, so again a small introduction to the teaching learning process, but detail, as I said, will be covered by the other experts. So you have to modify, you have to come up with some innovative pedagogies to be in line with the what are the expectations of, as I said, from the students in the coming times. See, there is one, I don't have this data here, but there is a UN data, data is there, that in 2027 18% of the global workforce will be from India. So you see, and the entire world, 18% will be from India. So it means our Indian youth, and we are the youngest country now in the world. So our youth, our young children have to get ready to face that challenge. And another data, same data, which says that in 2027, two-thirds of our population will be below the age of 25, and more than, and some percentage of population will be uh, between 25 and 35, which is a huge number. So if we go by these figures, then this is the time when the main thing which human being is doing below the age of 25 is gaining the education, gathering the education. So it means when our two-third population is below the age of 25, our main emphasis should be strengthening our educational ecosystem, because the global requirement and the global scenario that 18% of our workforce of the world will be Indians. So the foundation for that state has to be a very strong foundation of our education system. So for that, this teaching, learning, or pedagogies, I won't go into details. Okay, so these are to be taken care of, right? And the assessment part, I'm covering this because we'll be doing in the coming sessions. So quickly, just a few words, few slides about the vision and the mission. So vision statement, first of all, should be very clear, and it should be properly articulated, and brainstorming should be done, and a SWOT analysis should be done at the department level. What are the strengths, what are the weaknesses, what are the opportunities, and now we don't call threat, we call them challenges. SWOT analysis, you have to see that what, and do the analysis, and then come up with the vision and the mission statements. And dear friends, I tell you, earlier it was okay, head of the department, dean, one or two professors, they were sitting and framing these statements. No, now the proper strategic plan should be there, and a proper process has to be followed, including all the stakeholders. As I said, involvement of every stakeholder is important now for the any work which you are doing, whether you are drafting these statements, whatever you are drafting, the curriculum, anything, your stakeholders are there. So a proper flow has to be, a proper committee has to be framed, the brainstorming is done, that is, you have to have held many meetings, minutes of meeting should be there. See, when you go for the NBA, so this, when the team comes, they can ask you, okay, you framed the POs, come on, let us show. There is an issue. So you frame the POs. Let us see the minutes of meeting which was held for deciding the mission statements or POs. Then whom you all have involved, who are the stakeholders, then how, what inputs they have given, how you have reviewed those inputs, and then you have put in the academic council. So a proper system should be there, minutes should be there, and then you can show that okay, the vision statement or the mission statement of the department has been framed. Okay, so entire, whether it is for the institute or for the process of, for the program, the proper process has to be followed. Okay, so when you write the vision, because once the vision statement is framed, you do not have the liberty to change it again and again. So you have to be far sighted, you have to see how the things are going on at the local level, at the global level, at the national level, and where do you think you will be. So you have to be visionary, your leader has to be visionary to see that how after 10 or 15 or 20 years, where do I stand and what will be the requirement. So that, so vision statement should be written very very clearly, because that will only direct the rest of the statements. And the mission statement, as I said, when we are writing the vision, what steps are to be taken to achieve that vision is basically the mission statements, right? If I say I want to see my institute or my department as a center of excellence, creating the engineers with a good human and ethical values, so it means the mission statement should be center of excellence. So means one mission has to be towards in that direction. Other mission statement, a good citizen with human values, so in that direction. Third statement in the vision is which can cater to the global requirement or the industry requirement. So the another statement is in that direction. So mission statements are nothing but the statements which are directing to for the achievement of the vision. Okay, so they are actionable statements that guide the stakeholders to act, and they are the main things. Okay, then, as I said, the last topic which I'll be covering here is the POs, program educational objectives. So they are very broad statements which we are expecting that the graduates will attain after 3 to 5 years after their graduation. So again, they have to be in line with the mission of the institute, the mission of the department. Another thing is you cannot write 8 to 10 POs. You have to constrain the POs from 4 to 6. Even sometimes the NBA say 3 to 5 POs are also sufficient, because attainment of those or managing those more number of POs becomes difficult. So the POs should be defined, 3 to 5 POs are sufficient. They should be manageable. They should be achievable also. You should not think that, okay, a student, mine is a diploma program, and I expect that a student after 3 years will rise to the level of managing director or CEO of the institute of the company. So it should be attainable, it should be manageable, and it should be specific to the program. Okay, so because last 2 3 months back I went to some institute for this OBE pro consultancy. What they had done was the computer science department, they were floating BTech also, MTech also, and PhD also, right? And the POs were same for the all. How it can be? A student who has completed BTech, you cannot expect the same competencies which a student who has completed his PhD. His level, his trajectory of growing in his field will be different from the trajectory of a BTech student. So POs are to be specific for that particular program. In the same department, if you are having three different programs, your POs may differ based on the what program you are writing. This mistake usually I've seen in many institutes. They are doing it, considering it that POs are department specific. They are not department specific, they are program specific. Okay, so these are certain guidelines. Again, a process has to be there, a proper committee has to be there, program advisory committee or whatever name your institute gives. So they have to see that, again, involving every stakeholder and keeping in mind the vision and mission of the departments. You have to see that what POs you are, and the SWOT analysis. You are sitting in a remote area, suppose a engineering college in Himachal Pradesh in Kullu, and they say, okay, my student will, all the students will be in industry and reaching to the level of senior manager. No, you have to see, you have to do that SWOT analysis, where my students are being placed, what type of students we are getting, where they are moving. Okay, so that type of analysis has to be done before framing these POs or this one. Okay, so yes, consultation with all stakeholders are to be there. These are some example of the POs for an aeronautical engineering. You can just go through this. Okay, yeah. So this is all. I won't talk about POs, that further it will be taken care of. So here I would stop for this first session.